Hello. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. A cool Thursday. Is it Thursday? Yes, it's Thursday. Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hope you all been doing okay. Hello, Mr. Professor. Come on in. Say hello when you come on. Let me see, make sure that. Okay, I have my do not disturb. I have to do this 1 second on. Okay, there we go. Hi, everyone. No, I'm dancing, just dancing. Happy Thursday to you as well. Good evening, Laura Nifemi. How are you? Hi, TikTok family, YouTube and Facebook. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone has had a great week. Hello, Lady V8. How are you doing? Let's make sure the bra strap is not showing. I'm telling you, this is my thinking. Y'all can hold your judgment. I truly believe that a man invented a bra. Hi, Miss Sanctuary. I truly believe that a bra was invented by a man. Because I don't think, and women would agree with me, I do not think that any woman is going to be in the right mind, is going to decide that, you know what, I want to have something that feels like a straight jacket for women to wear every day of their lives. That's just me. That's my belief. We listen, we don't judge. So, because I just, yeah. Hello, Miss Sabina. How are you? So, whoever the man that invented the bra was, God, I'm sure he's probably dead because I don't think he would have lived to survive. Bra was invented by an angry man. I'm telling you, there's just no how you can convince me otherwise. Because there's no reason why we just can't go out and just be happy and just let the girls be happy. But no, some man decided, no, we don't want to see all of y'all. So strap them up. Yeah. That's why you hear that women get home. And when you ask any woman, what is the first article of clothing that you take off when you get home? Let me see. What is the first article of clothing you take off when you get home? It is a bra. You see, women are going to agree with me. It is. Because it's like, what? Why? But why? Can we not just breathe? But it's okay. I digress. Hi, everyone. This is Attorney. It's a constant thinking in my head. Like, I'm just happy when I don't have to wear one. And thank God I don't have big ones anyway. So, like, okay. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. So, but listen, we all know that everybody, well, anyway, let's just move on. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration. Hello, finest Jenny. Happy. So you used to take over the car. I don't blame her. Hello, finest Jenny. And happy Valentine's Day to all y'all lovers tomorrow. Some of us are single. So welcome to me. Hey, listen, it is what it is. And if anyone wants to send me anything for Valentine, I love chocolate covered strawberries, milk chocolate covered strawberries with nuts. That's my favorite kind of dessert. I'm telling you, like if you buy me chocolate covered strawberries with nuts, pecan nuts to be exact. Oh, you listen, just have my bank account. Well, not necessarily, but yeah. But anyway, happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. I know. I wish you were close by because, but it is what it is. This is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. I am an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case type that we handle, we'll be glad to represent you. It is a joy to have green cards. We got Mr. AA's green card today. It is just a blessing. Mr. SOS, his I-751 was approved 2 days ago. And I remember in 2023. Yeah, I think that's when he filed. Anyway, when he came to our firm, he was like, this lawyer, you know, I just, this is what I have. I don't think it qualifies as abuse, but I know my spouse is not going to help me, and she doesn't want a divorce. Like, no, nobody has the right to hold your life hostage for what? And it was we evaluated his case, and we were like, you know, it's worth taking a shot at it. Obviously, I can never give you any guarantee for anything, but I said, well, let's do what we can. We put together his case. It was like almost 300 pages. Everything on the kitchen sink. Like, that's me. If you've been my clients, every single client that we represented, you would always get a link to download a copy of your file, assembled the way it's sent to USCIS. So if you've ever worked with us, you would know that we arrange things like when USCIS officers tell you that we don't have to question you because your attorney just made our work a lot easier. I mean, come on now, give me my flowers. Well, let me rephrase that. Let's give every member of my team their flowers. Our main assembly guy in our firm is Isaiah. So I'm not sure if he's working. Sometimes he watches, but that is, if Isaiah has ever worked on your case, all my colleagues are great, but Isaiah is like, he's got the OCD bug like I do, and he is our assembly paralegal. So he knows what I want, and so once he's done with his work, he comes to my desk and I review everything before it goes out, because you know your case has to tell the story. If it doesn't tell a story to me, it's not going anywhere. We're gonna edit it until he tells the story, because you know that's the first point of contact with USCIS. So we sent his case out. I was really, in his case, I was actually expecting that we'll get at the very least an RFE or schedule for an interview. And God decided otherwise. His abuse-based green card approved 2 days ago with no RFE, no interview. That's how God works. So it is, it is the joy to just, you know, I'm telling you, you should ask my staff, especially Ashanti. They're like, okay, why do you get so excited about every? It is exciting. It's life-changing. If you've never walked this journey, you wouldn't really understand. You can't. If you've been through this journey, you get it. So we will be glad to represent you in your immigration case. 334-341-4475 is our contact number. Hello, Miss Ninechi. info@olalayelawfirm.com is our email address. olalayelawfirm.com. That is our website. So you can contact us. You can send us a text. Same number. We don't have any, well, we have 334-341-4482. Those two numbers. But on WhatsApp, it's the same 4475. You can send us a regular text. You can send us a WhatsApp text. We do not take calls on WhatsApp. People try to say, oh, we called you on WhatsApp. You didn't know. If you call on WhatsApp, it's not coming through because it's disabled on WhatsApp. We'll only do text on WhatsApp. If you need to talk to somebody, you've got to call it the regular line, and then you talk to Ashanti, my secretary. But anyway, we would be glad to represent you. Let us know what your case is. Set up a consultation. Let's just evaluate your case. And I'm aware that my schedule for consults is way into the other week. Yeah. I mean, we have Attorney Gosha. So if you want to, if you do not mind consulting with Attorney Gosha, then she's available to do consult next week as well. But anyway, let's talk immigration, people. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook at Olalaye Immigration. We will be glad to represent you. And we represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Yes, and Miss Ella actually has that on. Just we're thinking of like on Instagram for you. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Immigration is federal practice, so it means that if an attorney is licensed in one state, they are able to represent you in any state. So in my case, I'm licensed in the state of Alabama and in the state of New York. I am physically present in Alabama, but represent immigration clients. I have the least number of clients in my state to be able to. But maybe not the least in my state, but my state is one of the states that I have the least amount of clients in. Point being, most of my clients are outside the state of Alabama. So that gives you an idea that, yes, we can, like Mr. OS that we just talked about on his abuse case, he's a resident of Texas. Mr. AA is also a resident of Texas. Miss CA is a resident of, she lives in Chicago. So they're everywhere, you know. So let's talk immigration. One question that has been coming up so frequently, and I'm getting consults on that. We're getting questions. We're getting, people reaching out and saying, hey, is this 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 case, VAWA case, VAWA petition, how do we know, can an executive order cancel VAWA petition. So let's talk about that. Let's take care of that. But before I go into that, there is I did a video about divorce decrees, divorce decree, and not using a high court decree and submitted that as proof of termination of your customary decree. I welcome all comments, and I love that. But somebody made a comment on that video. So I'm just saying this, so if you see that comment, someone in all of their wisdom made a comment and said that only high courts have jurisdiction on divorce cases in Nigeria. Oh, I'm really trying to use the right words. So, and I actually went on because Kyla is our social media girl, but I went on to give a response, and I said that comments like this from people like him is why a lot of people get their cases denied, because the street lawyers tell them, oh, go get a high court decree, and then they mess it up, and then you want to go back and say, well, I had a customer marriage, but USCI says no. I've literally had I'm telling you, that's because professor here. I've literally had finance Shani can even attest to that. Miss C that I just talked about, who's in Chicago, she had a NOID for a VAWA case because, and a lot of people don't know one thing. Whatever you put in your non-immigrant visa application at the embassy, USCIS has access to that. And so if you say you were married and come in and say you were not married, they're going to pull up your record and say, hey, by the way, you were married 3 times, but you said it was twice. You don't have proof of termination. She was married to that spouse in a customary way. But when she came here, the street lawyer she consulted with said, oh, it's not recognized here, so you don't have to include that. What happened? Got annoyed. And so there was discrepancy, and there was lack of evidence for that, right? What did we submit as proof of the termination of that particular marriage? Affidavits. VAWA approved last week. So I want to challenge whoever wants to sit down with an argument. Ask people who know me, you don't want to argue with me, especially when I'm very sure what I'm saying. If I'm not sure, I can. Going back there. Come on. So when I'm sure. So please, when you see that comment, then people like that is why people get cases. If they're not licensed, practicing immigration attorney who understands, it took me a while to sit down and understand Nigerian divorces, Nigerian marriages, because of the rate of denials that we're getting. There was a point that I never paid attention to that because he took everything. But when it became an epidemic, like I call it, I had to educate myself more. Like, okay, what do we need to submit now? Before I even started VAWA case, before I started marriage-based case, and if you married before, then one of the things I'll ask you for is, where is your divorce decree? What kind of marriage did you have? Where's your divorce decree? We need to make sure whatever we're going to submit with new cases is right from the beginning. You cannot build a house with a faulty foundation. If you have, God knows, overwhelming good faith evidence, but you do not have a qualifying relationship, which is proof of your termination of your marriage, you ain't got nothing. I was going to cuss, but that's it. But anyway, so people like that like to take people like that to school. So I said, how about you go do some research? So you understand. There's some things in it because my first got but that's okay. We have to be professional. I digress. Anyway, so a lot of people are wondering, will an executive order cancel the VAWA petition? Is it possible? Do we have to worry about that? The short answer to that is no. Listen well. An executive order cannot cancel or stop or cancel out a VAWA petition. No, it cannot do that. And here's why. Executive orders that this new guy in office is just ready. We don't even know if he's the one in charge. Do y'all watch news where this South African guy was there with a kid in an Oval Office in America? It's become a joke. But anyway, we digress. There's no amount of executive order that he wants to write or issue out that's going to change the law. Now, he put out executive order trying to change the Constitution. As we've seen, He's been stopped. Nothing is going into effect on February 19, and there's nothing he can do until the highest court. That case is going to get to the Supreme Court. It has to. There's just no how, because they're going to back down, and the organization suing him and parties suing him are not going to back down. The Supreme Court is going to have to resolve this issue one more time because they've done it before. So nothing is going to come, nothing, everything stays. So he's trying. But the reason why you have the injunctions in place is because an executive order cannot change what the law is. The Constitution is the highest law of the land. It cannot change. It cannot be changed by an executive order. It has to be changed by an amendment passed by the Congress and ratified by the states. In the same vein, VAWA is codified in the VAWA Act, Violence Against Women Act. It is it's codified in the sense of it is statute. Statute means it is law. It has been signed into law because it was passed by the Congress and signed into law. An executive order cannot change what the law is. So that's, if that helps you to put your mind at rest, that's that. I'm telling you. So an executive order cannot change what the law is. VAWA is law that was passed by Congress and signed into law by the president. I believe the first authorization for VAWA, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was done by President Clinton in 1994. I want to say so, and it's been reauthorized since then. The last reauthorization was done in 2022, which was 2 or 3 years ago. I keep forgetting it's when 25 or years, remember. So 3 years ago by President Biden. Now, I'll tell you this, though. So just to be clear, an executive order cannot cancel out the VAWA petition. No, it is law that was passed by Congress to protect people, it has different kind of protections. But when it comes to immigration cases, it protects people who have been subjected to abuse at the hands of their legal permanent resident spouses or citizen spouses or LPR citizen parents or LPR citizen or a citizen son or daughter. But it is an act, it is a law that is reauthorized every so often. I think it was reauthorized in 2005, 2013, 2022. The last reauthorization was signed into law by President Biden in 2022. It is valid through that. So the last reauthorization is valid through 2027. The only concern I have, so the short answer to that is, can an executive order cancel out the VAWA Act? Short answer is no. However, the only concern I have is because the current reauthorization ends in 2027, and we have a Republican-controlled House, a Republican-controlled Senate, and the sitting president obviously has to sign the reauthorization. In 2027, unless God steps in, because there's nothing God cannot change. Because if God, people are not, no one is going to come make the children of God uncomfortable or miserable, and God is going to keep looking. It ain't going to happen. But anyway, if God steps in, that'll be great. But the person in power right now is still going to be the president in 2027. So is there a possibility that he may not be reauthorized at that point? It's yet to be seen. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But for right now, what you need to know is an executive order cannot cancel that now because it is codified. It is the law. It's been reauthorized, passed by Congress, signed by the president, reauthorized right now. So it's valid. It cannot be changed by an executive order. But whether or not it will be reauthorized is yet to be seen. So at the end of the day, what you need to know right now is if you qualify, if you are eligible for it, it is time to have, because whenever things like that happen, it's usually not retroactive. Hopefully not, but it's usually not retroactive. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to make sure you have your case evaluated, see if you qualify for VAWA, and file it while you can. And so there won't be anything to worry about. Straight to the point, simple. That's our short for tonight. So if you have called us, if you've sent an email and you're concerned and apprehensive because of that, I hope that clarifies that for you. So there's nothing to worry about for now. Okay. All right. And that's our short, people. That's it. Okay, let's take as many questions as possible because y'all, it's been a week of court. I court on Tuesday, Wednesday. No, it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So, Arafesimi, Aramfesimi. Is it Arafesimi or Aramfesimi? You get the point. Y'all, and y'all who have been making fun of my Yoruba skills, Allah my number label boy, Allah my number and that's okay. God knows where you all live, and that's okay too. Hey, baby boy. Okay. Disclaimer. Answers to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. If you want something more specific to your case, then you've got to schedule a proper paid consultation. And we've had so many calls. People are like, okay, well, your promotion has ended. Yes, it has, because we were very clear. It was January. It ended January. January gets to Labai. February, like well, actually almost half of February right tomorrow. Wow. See, that's one thing I love about February. That's probably no. Well, I was going to say my favorite month. No, my favorite month is August. That's my birth month. But after that, February, or maybe my other son was born in December. Anyway, because it is the shortest month, right? And it goes pretty fast. Because January usually just goes. Although this year was fast, but yeah. But disclaimer: nothing specific to anyone's case. General information. So just put your questions in the comment section. Please note, if you have your question in the comment section more than one time, it is going to be skipped. So if you see a comment that your question is after yours, and it's skipped, it's because you put it more than once. It's very simple. Okay. Patty says, will my work permit expire with my TPS expire? Once there's no TPS and your work permit was based on your TPS, then that's it. It's really sad that this person. So VAWA is one of those humanitarian, applications, obviously, and a lot of people were concerned because he's the obvious canceling TPS for people who really need it, which is another humanitarian application or benefit, and so that's why I think that's why we were having the but with VAWA being it codified its law. An executive order just cannot change that. TPS, on the other hand, is something that Attorney General designates a particular country, and so he has his own new Attorney General in there. So that's why they're doing what they're doing. But yes, once your TPS expires, the work permit that comes with it actually would also expire. Okay. And thanks, Ms. Savannah. Thanks for joining. Kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel. Yes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Olale Immigration. We're trying to build our subscribers. Will very much appreciate that. Why VAWA please, what happened when VAWA I-45 transferred to NBC? It's transferred. That's just part of the adjudication process. I just said no one. If I saw that you had repeated your question, I would have just skipped it. I'm not. Anyway, okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, approved I-360 a month ago. Just did my biometrics for my I-45. What next, please? You're going to wait for them to adjudicate your case. This is a positive platform where we share our immigration journey and testimonies to encourage one another. And yes, on that note, if you have a testimony to share, let us know. We want you to use that to encourage other people waiting on God, because this just is someone I met with. I had a consultation with a guy this morning, and he is undocumented, but we talked about his case, Mr. P, and he said that he always looks forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays. He joins us on YouTube. That he's been going through a hard time, and has had moments where he just wants to go back to Zimbabwe. But whenever he comes on, and also he's dealt with a terminal illness, and thank God he is in remission. But whenever he comes on the show, he feels renewed and he feels encouraged, and that gives him hope again. And I mean, it was almost crying. So my point is, sometimes you just don't know what this does for people. You think it's just we come together Tuesday, Thursday, and that's it. No, he's been in this country since 2000, 25 years. So imagine, and he's very close to getting his papers, very close. So I told him, like, God did not bring you this far out for 2.5 decades, 2.5 decades to leave you now. We have to remember that there's no errors. There are no errors with God. There's no coincidence. There's no delay. It looks like delay in our human eyes, but there's no delay. Things happen at the exact time that it's supposed to happen. And so if this is something that he can look forward to every Tuesday and Thursday and encourages him, why not? So please share. Okay. Let's see. Can PD be reopened? I'm not sure what you mean by PD be reopened. PD is just, it was granted. What do you mean by PD? Can an executive order reduce work permit from 5 years to 1 year? You don't need an executive order for that. That's something USCIS decides themselves. And so just the same way it went from 1 year to 2 years to 5 years, they can. Keep in mind that during his first administration, he was the one who increased the period of time people had to wait to get asylum EADs up to 365 days. When Biden took over, it went back to 180 days, filing 150 days, but you don't get it before 180 days. So that is still possible for them to go back and increase it the same way they can reduce the work permit, just to, because they know that work permit people get the 5 years. And so if you're waiting to file your work permit and you're eligible, this is the time you want to do, because there's just no telling. And that's just the truth. Okay, let's see. Let's go to TikTok. Let's see. Okay. Asylum with illegal entry at first, later have TPS and I-94, now married U.S. citizen can file concurrently. If you now have a valid entry, so you've been paroled in with, or you have the I-94, you've been paroled in, then now you are considered to have legal entry. And general information, I don't know anything about your case. Generally, you should be eligible to adjust status. The best thing you can do for yourself is to consult with an attorney. This, like I already said, this is not legal advice forum. This is general information. If that helps you, fine. But it's not something where you said, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do based on what you said. No, we ain't doing that. So that's general information for that. Anything as far as how long something is taking with USCIS processing time, go on USCIS processing time website. Okay. I got VAWA for reason. My I-131 denied. I don't know why. So what's your question? Okay, let's see. Hello, I'm Canadian. Now overstay my visa in the USA when I was another nationality. So can we please ask questions? What's the question? I have 2 years green card. I traveled to Nigeria with it. Okay, what's the question? What is the question? Oh, can you travel? Whether you can travel, talk to your lawyer, or consult with someone to evaluate case. This is not the. Even during the Biden administration, I would not advise, if you're not a client of mine, particularly now, you want to make sure all your ducks are in a row, your T's are crossed, or your I's are dotted before you travel. So all my clients, if you're traveling, we are going through what your papers are, making sure there's nothing I do not know, and you've got me where on your way back, you make sure that you're able to contact me if need be. So. Can I upload unsolicited evidence on my online account? You can, but I usually tell people wait for them to ask you for something. Okay, let's see. Raj, are you answering questions or not today? If I knew that you were going to be disrespectful, I wouldn't have even answered your question. I'm not really sure. Maybe there's some miscommunication somewhere, because first of all, I'm not obligated to. This is a labor of love, number one. Number two, it's very clear from the beginning that put your questions in the comment section. We get to them. I think I'm very clear on that, right? Okay. Kenyon in Philly, thank you. Appreciate that. Doc Salmon, thank you. Yeah. So he may not authorize it. Yeah, it's the president has to reauthorize. Yeah. But let's listen. 2027 is still a while away. God's got plenty of time between now and then. Yeah. What's your longest VAWA case timeline? To be honest, I really cannot think of from the top of my head, because I have cases that I start myself. I have cases where they transfer to our firm. I have cases that are still pending from October, November, December 2021. We're getting one was approved. We're getting one. We got a request for evidence for a divorce related issue. So they're actually keeping to that 41 and a half months, because we hit 36. So yeah, about 40, about 30, 39, 40 months is what we're seeing with that. So yeah. So we're seeing it be based on their average processing time. I'm not seeing anything longer than that for VAWA. Remember, that's the VAWA part of it. It does not include the I-485 part. When your VAWA has been approved, when are you good to receive your green card? When they approve your I-485 application. Hello, Mr. Akeem. How are you? That's one of my clients. What can cause delay for swearing in as a citizen after doing an interview? I can speculate to what your case is. Can I file report of birth for my child born in a foreign country 4 years after natural? You should be. I don't see any reason why. As long as the child was born after you naturalized, not before. I'm just making sure that that's clear. Thank you, Ms. Akim. I applied to remove conditions over a year ago. How much longer do you think it would take? USCIS.gov processing time. It has the average time it's taking for applications. How can I know if someone has used VAWA against me? You're not going to know unless I tell you. Okay. Fafa, thank you. Appreciate that. Amen. Okay, let's see. Excellent 47. Thank you for sharing. I haven't overstayed my visitor visa and still in the US. Can I do anything to get an adjustment? Sit down with a lawyer and figure out what your options may be. Okay. Shalash Kitchen, you have never answered my question before. If you repeat your questions, probably that's the reason. So rather than say you've never answered my question before, you could have just easily put that question in there. Okay. How long can I get my card at VAWA? Card for what? So if you did VAWA, has your VAWA been approved? What card are you asking? Are you asking about your EAD card? Are you asking about your green card? What card? What USCIS means inviting me for application review after I-130 is approved, waiting for I mean, the fact, so a lot of people think that when you have an I-130 approved, that means that you're going to be, you don't have interviews. USCIS still reserves the right to call you in for an interview if your I-485 is still pending. in spite of an approved I-130. So it's still possible for them to call you for an interview. And if they feel that they should not have approved the I-130 without an interview, you may get a notice of intent to revoke. That happens very, very, very frequently. So it's not out of the norm that you have an approved I-130 and they called you in for an interview on your I-45. Okay, let's see. What happens to our marriage case if we don't live together because one person is in school on F1? That's usually a reasonable explanation for why you're not living together. So it doesn't change that it's a bona fide marriage as long as you have your evidence to prove that you one person, you alternate going to see each other. You've got bank accounts, you've got, you take trips together and all that. But that's a plausible explanation why and then if the person, as long as when there's a school break, like you've got Christmas break, you've got spring break, whatever break that is long enough, the person is coming back home to your marital residence. So you put that together. We've had cases like that. You just have to show that there is that cohabiting when the person is not in school. Do I need a divorce decree to renew my VAWA-based EAD card? You don't. Okay, let's see. Okay. Filed stepson for I-45. I got interview under 18. What questions will be asked? I can't speculate what questions will be asked. I'm hoping you have a lawyer who would prepare with you and you can ask them those questions. Okay. All right, let's see. Can a green card holder file for undocumented spouse? And a green card holder can file for an undocumented spouse. The question is, can that undocumented spouse get a green card based on a petition that is filed by a green card holder spouse without having to leave the country? Short answer is generally no, unless you are a VAWA self-petitioner. But if you're basing it on an I-130 filed by a green card holder spouse and you are out of status, you're not eligible to adjust status in the country. You're going to have to cancel the process and get a 601A waiver approved before you leave. And there's never any guarantee that you're going to get an immigrant visa. So the best case scenario is for your spouse to become a citizen, and then they can file the I-130 even while as a green card holder, but you can't adjust status. So once they become a citizen, then you become eligible to adjust status because the unlawful presence is waived unless you came in without inspection, meaning you didn't even come in you didn't have a legal entry. So undocumented spouses usually are people who are classified as undocumented immigrants are those who come in legally but then overstay. But if you came in without inspection at all, no papers, none, then you're considered illegally an illegal entry. So that that's just the I hate to use that word illegal, but that's usually how it's classified. My work permit will expire August 20. That's my son's birthday. Can I apply at any time after February 20? Does the time apply matter? You can apply earlier than 6 months. So as long as it's not more than 6 months before expiration, then you should be fine. Hello, Mr. Melvis. How are you? I had my interview since last December, got cancellation notice a week after and not received any response since then and no update in their website. What should I do now? I hope you have a lawyer. Contact your lawyer. If not, December is not too far out. If you're waiting even after a year, you can reach out to your senator, call USCIS to get an update, do an ombudsman inquiry. But I would tell you it's not a long time. If you're talking of 12 plus months, and that's different. So it's not out of the norm if it's just less than 2 months ago. My vacation is still in progress. I'm thinking you mean application. I filed in January 2023. I'm in removal proceedings because the ICE office did not believe me when I told him I had a process going on with my VAWA. Okay, VAWA. Okay, what's your question? Okay. Is it advisable to travel? Anything about travel? If you're not a client of mine, I don't answer those questions. Overstay. So you came in legally. So once your spouse becomes a citizen, your spouse can file the I-130 as a green card holder. That's because a lot of people are saying, okay, can my spouse file for me as a green card? The spouse can. The I-130 is a standalone petition. You don't need to file a green card with an I-130 because there are people who file for the spouses that are outside the country. So the spouse can file for you. The question is, while in the country, will you be able to get a green card if you are married to a green card holder and you've overstayed? No, unless you're a VAWA petitioner or until the person becomes a citizen. You're welcome, Hush. Got a notice after 36 months filing that my I-140 was transferred, but no update. It's just normal. There's a lot of transferring going back and forth with USCIS. I get that daily notification. I tell my clients, listen, if you're not hearing from me because I said slower transfer, I ain't gonna. Even for me hypertension. I already have blood pressure. I do. I got it from my dad. What can I say? You're welcome. But it's just part of the normal adjudication process. So I won't worry about that. All right, let's go to Instagram. What's the time? Okay. Y'all, I'm just going to finish the live. I don't know what I'm going to eat. I wish I could hire a personal cook, personal chef that would help me. Because I don't know how y'all who love cooking, Finance Sandy and Miss Ellen Sanctuary, my mom loved, my sister-in-law, mommy did interest. Why do y'all enjoy cooking? Like, what did I miss something? Was there a bug that was going around that I don't care to cook. Like, I only cook for my kids because I don't want children's services to come get me. Because I also work for the state of Alabama as a deputy attorney general. I'm everywhere, people. For the Department of Children's Services. So more because my oldest kid will probably not say anything. But TJ, let's just leave that alone. So that's another reason why I cook. You would not catch me cooking anything for myself. I just don't. So my mom sends me food. We listen, we don't judge. And my sister-in-law sends me food. We listen, we don't judge. And Lick Finger, if you've never had at Lick Finger on Instagram, sends me food. We listen, we don't judge. That's it. Miss Ella Sanctuary sometimes sends me my favorite snacks. We listen, we don't judge. I just cook for my kids. As long as they're fed, we're fine. That's it. But so I say all that to say is I have no clue what I'm going to eat tonight. But I'm going to eat something and just go to bed because, yeah, I know. I need a personal chef. That's what is going to happen. So maybe that's one reason why I'm single. I met this guy who said he really enjoys African food and would love. I say, miss me down next. Find somebody who's going to be willing to show you what African food looks like, not me. Not me. Okay. We don't have the new setup anymore. I'm still working. I'm not really sold on that. I'm still trying to see how that feels. I'm not really sold on that. I just don't like the way it appears because I have too much OCD. Maybe it's just me, or maybe you guys see it differently. Yeah, that's just me. But anyway, so we're alternating between them to just see which one I'm fine with, Miss Abena. Only God knows what he was going through at the time. The guy was really a sad one. Some say it's a brazen conduct. Happy Valentine's, everybody. One day she had it in her handbag, wait for midweek service, and when it was up in time, I won't pull her. The African parents. I don't blame her. Listen. Milk, chocolate, strawberries with nuts. That's what she likes. I can eat it all day. I'm not even kidding. 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕, so nice to join in for the first time. Welcome, 𝒊𝒎𝒏𝒕. We welcome you wholeheartedly. Thank you for joining. I know you're playing the happened to pop up on Zoom. Okay. Let's see. I have an approved I-130 filed by my dad. However, I am out of status. If I file a waiver, will I still need to leave the United States to apply for a visa or the consulate in my home office? Absolutely. Yes. Isaiah is a huge blessing. He is a blessing. I'm telling you. You haven't. Hello, Mr. Leche. How are you? More approvals in Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Is it okay to file for H-1B if my I-45 is still pending, I-765 approved? You can file for H-1B if an employer has to sponsor you for an H-1B petition. But if you're not in a valid status, you're not going to get an H-1B because your pending I-45 is it doesn't confer on you any legal status. It just authorizes you to stay. In order for you to change status to H-1B, you have to be in a valid status. And so you probably have overstayed. So you wouldn't be able to, because the difference between changing status and adjusting status. Can testify to that. Absolutely fine as Shandy. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, street lawyers be so loud and wrong. That's the thing. That's the most annoying part. When you are confident in your wrong assertion, and people are going to be reading that and probably just go do the same errors everyone, and then they come back to people like me and say, you know what, somebody said, and I'm like, yeah, I already knew it wasn't a real lawyer that told you that. But anyway, was a comment on YouTube or IG right there under the video that I did in Yoruba language on the customary, I think it was Saturday that was posted. Not sure. I followed the argument too. Yeah, charging the lawyers. Nobody knows everything. Comments are welcome, but the one thing that gets under my skin is when you're asserting lack of knowledge, and you are really asserting lack of knowledge, and like people are reading this. So I don't delete those comments. No, I tell Kylie, no, leave it. We're going to respond and take them to school. That's it. Yeah. If someone applies for a B1, B2, and it's been in administrative processing for 10 months, can I file for written mandamus? Can you represent? I don't do written mandamus anymore. You can, but I don't do that anymore. I never did it with embassy in the Department of State, but even mandamus with USCIS, I no longer do that. Hey, Miss Malavi, how are you? I can't even stop shaking my head. This guy is actually the number one. College is just something is just there as figurehead. It's a shame. That's what America. I mean, I don't think anyone can stand anywhere and say it's the most powerful country in the world. I don't know. It's just me. I have a question. Can someone who's going through divorce file for divorce from Nigeria or America? The wedding was done in Nigeria. It doesn't matter where your wedding was done. And thank you for bringing that question. Listen to me, people. It doesn't matter where your wedding was done. There is every country and every jurisdiction has residency requirements. In Nigeria, and listen, I don't practice in Nigeria. I'm still licensed there because, if you go on the Nigerian Bar Association, put in my name, it still will come up. It will come up under Samuel. That's my maiden name. But even I know that I have to reach out to my colleagues who are actively practicing family law because they are the ones doing it. So they are the ones teaching me what I'm not sure about. I can read it all day, but they're practicing it. So I can tell you that you are required to be domiciled in Nigeria in order for you to file for divorce. If you are filing based on if you had a registry marriage, then obviously if you're still domiciled in Nigeria for purposes of being able to get a divorce, then you go through a high court. If you did not have a registry marriage, you had an Islamic marriage, you had a customary marriage. And for all intents and purposes, what we usually call engagement is a customary marriage. Then you have no business in the high court. So if you're talking of a registry marriage and you have not been domiciled in Nigeria, meaning Nigeria does not have any jurisdiction over you anymore. Domicile means that's your permanent physical residence. So if you've been in the United States for at least the last 2-3 years, you're no longer considered to be domiciled in Nigeria. And so that's something that comes up in so many RFEs and notice of intent to deny. That how did you get a divorce done if you have not left the United? Because if you've overstayed, obviously you're not leaving unless you have an advanced parole. So I've seen RFEs where they ask you, how did you not get the divorce done? And it says you were domiciled in Nigeria at the time you filed, but you've been in the United States for the last 5 years. Then it becomes a problem. You can't justify that. And so if you have been living in the United States, it doesn't matter that your marriage was done in Nigeria. If it was a high court, a registry marriage, and you've been living in the States, you live in the United States for at least, most states you require 6 months residency. Some states, I think, is 90 days. My state in Alabama is 6 months. So check with a family law attorney in your state. As long as you have satisfied the residency requirements, some states may have additional requirements that you've got no business filing a divorce suit in Nigeria, number one. Number two, why in God's name would you even want to start that when you know you can easily get a divorce here and they can't question their own divorce from their own states, from one of their own states, So I hope that, that helps. I just wanted to take time to explain how this works so that you know what becomes an issue for people. Okay, let's answer that question. It's time to hike the more, you're about to financial animal. Okay, I already answered that question. How do you do it? You work around the clock. Hats off what you do. Thank you. I'm a full-time mom, and in my spare time I practice law. I hardly sleep. I'm telling you, I hardly sleep. But thank you. All right, I'll answer that question. Can we PD be reopened later? Okay, so when you say PD be reopened later, I'm thinking, because you're the same person, I'm thinking that you mean, can you still ask for PD? Is that what you're asking? The author of Jesus, the author of my life. I love that. I mean, prosecutor discretion to close the case, just avoid his. So yeah, when you say can PD be reopened, are you asking if you can still request or seek PD, make a PD request and close out your case in court? Is that what you're asking? Okay. My vow was approved 3 days ago. Congratulations. What next? You're going to wait for them to adjudicate your I-485 if you filed one. Congratulations. Vow was approved January 30, filed November 2021. Yeah, get into those cases. I made a consultation with you and you're advising to keep waiting. Oh, okay. No RFE. I filed concurrently. So what next? Thanks a lot for that 30 minutes. You're welcome. You may have probably wanted to need to take over your case, because that happens a lot, but it just depends. I always tell people, listen, sometimes there's really nothing else an attorney can do in your case, and that's why you have an evaluation done, and that's what I do during the consult. If you come to me, I'll be honest with you, you're just going to be paying me because if you retain my services, I have to charge you a base fee as a retainer to get on your case. And rather than do that, we're just going to be both of us are going to be waiting. But you would have to pay me for my services, because that's just what it is. So rather than pay me, just wait. And if you get an RFP, then we can take it from there. But if not, then that's it. So if there's nothing to do on your case, I tell people there really isn't anything for me to do on your case right now besides just waiting. And so I'm glad that the waiting paid off. And we thank God for it, and we celebrate with you. We celebrate with you. That it's always good to hear news of joy like that. How did I? Oh, well. But you repeated your question, though, but that's okay. Since we're celebrating with you. Okay, you're welcome. Hello, Miss Geraldine. How are you? Some people don't still understand the difference of right and privilege. It is what it is. How long does it take for them to respond to our? I can answer questions about how long something is taking. Like that's not the question I can answer. While a VAWA is pending, can you file for advance parole or work permit? If you've got, if you have a pending I-485, yes. Lots of question on over 3 to 4 platforms. Some people think, oh, questions. It's not even like trying to, and I really do the best I can. But when you feel entitled, like you answer, especially when you've been told, put a question in the comment section. We'll get to questions at the end. I couldn't be a teacher. When I was an adjunct professor, but well, that's college case. I couldn't teach high school or because I not on my no because I'm about one like Okay. Thank you. My girls are sticking up for me. They ain't playing with me. It can be therapeutic. It can. It really can. Have my happy place. Y'all don't get me mushy because I don't have no date for tomorrow. So let's just we're going to go a good Valentine's Day tomorrow. Like cooking is relaxing. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. There's nothing you can tell me. It's my happy place. That's good for you. It's us August 21. I don't love cook. Thank you, Epic Movement. Somebody telling the truth. It's us. Well, are you trying to say where the problems? It's us August 21 birthday people. I don't love cooking until my mom might cook. Well, maybe it's just us, the August people. The Epic Movement that I share the. I don't care to cook. I don't. I really don't. I'll eat, but I ain't cooking. I always say if I remarry by some miracle, I get remarried again. He has to understand that he's going to be cooking a lot for himself. That's just the truth. We listen, we don't judge. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's on you. That's it. When can I come for my spicy? Oh, we're still going to Maryland for our spicy and we even playing that. We'll judge soon. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm trying not to miss anyone's questions. No, I don't need that kind of cooking happy place grace. No, it miss me with that one. No. Start by watching cooking shows after you criticize like 10 people cook away you don't understand. No, it's not ever going to happen. No. Can someone out of status who overstayed qualify for the H-1B starting in March? No. If you qualify, you're going to need a waiver. So you're not going to be able to get so there's two parts on H-1B. People who are in the country and who are eligible have the employer file the I-129, which like I represent 3 universities. So we do H-1B all year round. And that's because universities are what we call H-1B cap exempt employers. So, and then I have some we do during the registration period who are cap subject. But H-1B is a petition and a change of status wrapped in one. So whenever you get an approved H-1B petition, it would say this petition and concurrent change of status or change of status has been approved. If you're not eligible for the change of status, it would just be petition has been approved and case forwarded to the National Visa Center, whatever the case may be and all that. And that is if the person doesn't have any bars that's going to prevent you from getting the stamp at the embassy. But if you've overstayed, it's not even about getting the visa stamp. It's about you leaving the country and being stuck outside because you're going to need a waiver of the unlawful presence. So you cannot change status to an H-1B in the country, even if the petition itself separately is approved. That's the best way I can explain that. My son is a minor out of status. Aside from filing the I-130, is there anything special I need to do? I'm a permanent resident and I'm married to a citizen. If you're married to a citizen, then your spouse should be able to file for your son. Your son is still under 21 and obviously under 18 when you got married. So there's no reason why your spouse cannot file for your son. But other than that, unless there was this reason to believe that he may qualify for what we call CGs, but if you already have a stable home, then your spouse should file for your child. Well, I understand they already answered. It's because CGs is not going to work for you. You're welcome, Alone Femi. Alone Femi. My friend received a letter that her I-45 has been transferred to the NBC, you mean, to fast track her process, but her I-36 still pending. It's still, I think you're the same person who asked me the question. It's part of the processing. Is there another way F1 visa can get work permit and Social Security aside married to the citizen or through EB1, EB2? OPT. When you qualify for OPT, that's another way. If you're an online F1, you can get to work. Okay, let's see. What do you think about EB2 NIW? My PD is December 2023. What do you mean? What do I think? Lauren Ethan, what do you mean? What do I think about it? I need your personal number to ask some questions. You don't need my personal number. You have my office number, which is 334-341-4475. And you can go on our website to schedule a consultation. That way we can talk about your case. Brother-in-law about to start. Yeah. I'm cooking for nobody. I'm sorry. Is it advisable to file I-360 standalone and file for I-45 later, or it's better to file it together or once? It just depends. If you, first of all, if you're married to a green card holder, then you have to look at the visa bulletin and make sure your priority date is current. If you're married to a citizen, and it's important for you to have, because a standalone I-360 doesn't do anything for you. If you've got a pending I-485, that authorizes you to stay in the country, and then you can also work. So you've got to consider the pros and cons, unless you've got a separate status, like a non-immigrant visa that's still valid, status is still valid, like an F1, H1B, something like that, then that's different. So those are things you have to put into consideration. Okay, I think we will get to, just two more questions. All right. When they said you need your person number, I said they clearly don't know who they're talking to. And then when do you think it can move? I cannot speculate to what the visa bulletin is going to do. We just take it a month at a time. Right now, the progress to if you're not in are you in the United States? If you're not in the United States, do you have an approved EB2 NIW already? If you don't have any, so I'm hoping you have an approved one. If it's been approved, then they're in May 2023. They're going to be in May 2023 for the month of March. So it's moving. They were in August, and then we're not. Well, it depends. It depends on the chart. If you are in the United States, USCIS is using the dates for filing. So it just depends where you are. So without knowing more information about your case, then personal number. So are you saying if I can apply for H-1B visa after overstay, I need a waiver first, or I'm not just qualified? It's not about whether you're qualified or not. The H-1B is for people who an employer files for you if you have the requirement, the qualifications, minimum of bachelor's degrees, a specialty occupation, then that position also requires a bachelor's degree. That's that. Whether or not you are able to change status to H-1B as someone who's overstayed, you cannot do that in the country. That's what I'm telling you. So an H-1B petition can be approved as a standalone petition, but the employer is going to request for you to cancel the process. In order for you to cancel the process and come back in, as someone who's overstayed, you need a waiver of the unlawful presence. So, and the waiver is going to take forever. So that's what I'm telling you. Okay. Oh, okay. So got you. Approved to EB2, and so you just have to wait. And if you have the 2 years OPT, perfect. Hopefully they're going to be in May 2023 for come March. 2 months ago was in August. It was really close because I've got a lady whose EB2 was approved. We got it approved in September, and I was telling her, I was like, we're close. And then the next in February came out, and it was like, we're back to, it was like, I don't think we edge a barrel long, but yeah. So what I'm telling people is, if you qualify for EB1, NIW. Look into that because that's current. So yeah. But anyway, you're welcome. All right, people. We will pick this back up on Tuesday, and I can get to the rest of the questions. We'll pick this back up on Tuesday. But let me say this: it is. There's so much going on especially in the United States, especially in the immigration world. But don't let that don't live in fear. We can't. Fear and faith do not operate together. Now they contradict you. You can't operate fear and faith at the same time. No, you're either living in fear or living by faith. But remember one thing: when things get tribulations are the toughest when you're really close to your breakthroughs. Trials and tribulations become almost unbearable when you're really close to your breakthroughs. So if it feels like everything is closing up around you, just hang in there, because God is not going to bring us this far to fail us. It's impossible for him to start something that he cannot finish. If God started it, if he brought you this far, he will complete your story, and you would have that fulfilled expectation. But if it looks like everything around you is just falling apart, just hang in there, because that may mean that your story is about to change. So surround yourself with people who would encourage you, not people who would bring you down and let you live in fear. That's the one thing you can do for yourself. I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend.